Hi there Libras, I'm Ellie Rose and welcome to my channel. This is your love reading for October 29th to the 5th of November. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever resonates for you, take it in. If it doesn't, maybe another video will. So let's find out what we've got for our Libras today. We've got the High Priestess and the Tower. Boom, rightio. On this side we've got the Hierophant. Again, the Hierophant is coming out in every reading. And the Ten of Swords. So, on the one hand we've got somebody here, can be Pisces, Virgo, Aries, but also obviously Libra, this is your reading. Some sort of like spiritual awakening has caused everything that you once knew to be like completely ground zero, like some idea of what reality was, some idea of, you know, who you are at your very core. This has all come down now, and you know, don't be scared of the Tower. The Tower is not necessarily always a scary energy, although it can be quite, you know, it can be quite destructive. It is like a destructive force, but it comes out of nowhere in order to like clear the air so that new things can be built, new foundations can be built. And I feel like that has become a very intuitive process. If this is you, whether or not you resonate with the signs that these are, this is about realizing something on a much deeper level. Like, it's about having your intuition almost like cracked open and being able to see like the truth, being able to like see into like another way of viewing the world, like another reality almost. And with that, it, you know, it has probably been quite painful at times, because when you have these like new realizations, your ego tries to cling on to your old ways, and so that would be quite painful to have to shed those old ways. But it's been a necessary process. It's like an awakening. It's like an illumination of like what is real, and kind of like lifting the veil through to the other side. So yeah, profound stuff already right off the gate. And then on this side we can have air energy or Taurus. But again, it can just be that these are the energies, not necessarily the signs, so don't get too caught up in the labels. This person here is letting go of some sort of old way of thinking, some sort of way that was perhaps quite conservative, quite traditional. Perhaps this person was maybe like ascribing to like a traditional religion, and now they're kind of starting to have that, like, not necessarily not believing in it anymore, but like, you know, new stuff is coming in that perhaps doesn't quite fit with the old way of seeing things, very similar to what the person on this side has had. And now perhaps they're beginning to see that there is like a different path, like a different spiritual path. Like the Hierophant is very spiritual, and the Ten of Swords is about like a culmination of thoughts being let go, or a culmination of beliefs being let go. So yeah, both parties here are having some quite big realizations about stuff, probably because of this connection. So let's see, what is this person in the Priestess feeling towards this connection? Four of Coins and the Five of Coins. Okay, so this is like 4 moving into 5, so we've got progress, definitely, caused by this spiritual awakening. This person is feeling like this connection has made them feel like they don't have to cling to things so much anymore. And in that, it's like letting go of what they wanted it to look like, or letting go of what they believed should be, has now come into this Five of Coins energy, which is change. It's like, it doesn't feel good, definitely not sitting underneath the Tower, but it's like you have to go out into the wilderness in order to learn these things, and that doesn't feel good. Like, the wilderness is full of like bears, and you know, maybe there's snow, maybe you have to like hunt for your dinner, like I'm going with the analogies today, but it's like a necessary process to leave behind the old ways of being, and this connection has done that for this person. This connection has made this person realise that they don't have to cling on to love, they don't have to cling on to like their preconceived ideas of what a relationship should look like, and because of that now, you know, they're feeling like perhaps these guys are in separation or that things like their life is changing, they're shedding like some old way of being, maybe even changing careers, maybe getting into something more spiritual, trying to start a spiritual business or like project or something. But it's a process. Like the connection has made them level up and evolve in some way, and it's not felt good, but it's part of it. So let's see what this person here is feeling towards the connection. Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords. So this person is feeling like what they want is something very committed, especially with the Queen of Pentacles sitting underneath the Hierophant. They want a commitment, but perhaps at the moment they're being a little bit strategic about it. Like King of Swords underneath the Ten of Swords is like they've had to shed these old ways of thinking, and perhaps they are now in a place of being able to see things, being able to see the light of a situation a little bit better, being able to see the truth of this connection a little bit better, and they're feeling better about it, despite the fact that the Ten of Swords is like a kind of terrifying looking card, right? It's like a guy that's been stabbed by a bunch of swords. Like, it's not a nice looking card, but it is the end of a process. It's the end of a way of thinking. So this person is now leaning into their truth. They're now starting to see that actually there might be a different way of seeing the world. There might be a different, more spiritual way of approaching relationships, of approaching life. And what they really want right now is a commitment. But I think as well that this would be quite difficult for this person, because again we've got this whole thing about, you know, the ego clinging on to like what it knows. Like the ego doesn't want to try new ways of being. It wants to just be safe, it wants to be stable, it wants to know that everything is as it thinks it is. And because of that, it's going to be quite a difficult process to get out of that way of thinking. So this is definitely this is a very progressive reading already. Like definitely both parties are going through something that is allowing them to see things in a different way. They're just doing it in a slightly different way, I feel. So, you know, for this person here, they're being very spiritual about it, you know, and trying to go within and learn like these kind of like higher lessons, and trying to like increase their vibrations in a way that means that they don't have to cling to things anymore, and they don't have to always be like so caught up in what things should look like, you know. Whereas the other person, I think that part of the lessons that they've been learning here is that things don't have to be rigid, things don't have to be traditional in a sense, like whether that is because they are of a certain religion or not. It's just that they're having to learn that in order to get what they want, maybe they have to be a little bit more flexible. So let's see, what is subconsciously blocking this person on my left? Death. Okay. Woo! And yeah, the Ace of Coins. Yeah, this person is really learning that in order to reach this like higher spiritual level that this connection needs in order to come to union, they have to let go of their expectations in the material world. So that could mean that, you know, perhaps they want this connection to work on a certain time scale, perhaps they want this connection to work on a certain, you know, like it needs to progress in a certain way, like, you know, well, we should be talking by now, we should be doing this by now. And actually I feel like this person is letting go of that now, but part of the block still is this expectation of a commitment. And I feel like this person's lesson is to let go of that, because as soon as you let go of the fact that you desperately want the commitment, then the commitment can come. And I know that sounds like really paradoxical, but like by clinging to things like the Four of Coins energy, you're essentially not allowing any other option to come in. And I don't mean like another option like another person, although it could mean that. That might be part of the lesson that needs to be learned, you know, to recognise that even though this connection is like, woo, it's like mind-blowing, the one, there can be other people, You know, there can be other people that can make us happy, and that might be part of our path. If it's not that, then just letting go of any kind of preconceived ideas of what it should look like. And for that to happen, there needs to be like a huge transformation, which I feel like is already happening for this person. You've got the Tower and Death. So essentially, like, when the Tower comes before Death, it's like something will clear away all of the old rubbish that has not been serving you and that has been preventing this reunion to happen, so that something new can come in. Like Death and the Tower, they're very similar energies, but Death essentially is about like renewal. It's about a new beginning, because when something dies, something can be reborn. So with the Tower coming before the Death card, it's like this person has now realised that in order for the new thing to come in, this connection, they need to let the Tower fall. They need all of their ideas about what love looks like, what relationships look like, you know, how people should be with each other, need to crumble so that a new way can come in and this reunion can happen. Guys, this is a pretty profound reading. I feel like definitely somebody is like really quickly progressing on this path. So let's see about this side here. What subconscious blocks have we got? Seven of Swords and the Three of Wands. This person is worried that if they were to go with this new way of thinking, they might not be able to see the truth of it all, and because of that, they're not going to be able to predict what happens. Now, this is a very common mindset for, like, I think humans. I'm not going to, like, you know, mess about there. It's just a common mindset for most of us, in that we want to know the future. I mean, obviously you do, otherwise you wouldn't be here watching this video. We want to know the future because we want to prepare for it. We want to be able to sit back and say, okay, well, if that happens, then I'll do this, and if that happens, then I'll react like that. And that's like a protection mechanism. It's like trying to cushion the fall before it even happens. But a lot of the time we don't know what the fall is going to be. We don't know how we're going to fall. We don't know how far we're going to fall. We don't know who's going to be there to catch us. We don't know. We just don't know. So part of this person's subconscious blocks are that they feel like if they are to give up their way of thinking, like this kind of traditional mindset that they have been in for, you know, probably their whole life, that they want to know that there is a safety net. Because essentially, like, when you ascribe to either like a religion, or, you know, not necessarily a religion, just like a held set of beliefs, that is a safety net. That is like a way of seeing the world that you can, you know, when something happens, you can like put it in a box and be like, okay, cool, now I can respond like this, or, you know, don't worry because, you know, everything is like that. It's like a structure that keeps you safe, and without that, this person worries that they won't be able to see what's coming next, and that kind of frightens them, which is completely understandable. But part of that is like, I almost feel like this person needs the advice of the Fool. If that comes out, then we'll see. But it's like the Fool is all about like taking the risk without knowing what is ahead, because you're just following your heart. You're just following what you think you should do in the moment, what you feel you should do in the moment, with no concern of what is ahead. So let's see what advice can we give this person. Oh, the Eight of Wands and something behind it. I'm going to take another one. Oh, and the Six of Swords. The Nine of Wands. Okay, so Eight of Wands, Nine of Wands, Six of Swords. So the advice here for this person is to connect, is to communicate, to talk about what is going on. That will help, you know, just to, if this person is going through a lot of radical changes, then talking to somebody would help. If it's not with, you know, their beloved, then with somebody, talking about it will help. And to not try and like, don't try and like fix things in a certain way. Like, things are always flexible. Like, you don't have to have rigid beliefs. You don't have to say, okay, when X happens, I will do Y, or when A happens, I will think B. It doesn't have to be like that. And in order for them to do that, they need to like move away from some kind of like, some belief, some mindset that is holding them back from something. Like the Six of Swords for me is like a therapy card. It's like moving away from kind of choppy feelings, the water, into a calmer, kind of more emotional like mindset, and being able to see through the swords. So being able to see through your own deceptions, like being able to see the mindsets that you have are perhaps not serving you, and that if you were to just remove them for a second, you might have a better view of what's going on. You know, like beliefs are really funny things. It's like everybody's beliefs are subjective, but then we cling to them as if they are for everybody, and they're not. And sometimes that helps us, and sometimes it doesn't help us. And I feel like for this person, they're realising now that it's not helping them anymore, and what they need to do is move away from that, because it's like obscuring their vision, and it's stopping them from being able to have this love come in that is, you know, is what they want. So what about this person on my left? What advice can we give them in their massive earth-shattering, wow, okay, I was going to say earth-shattering spiritual awakening, but then the wheel came up, and of course it did. And the moon. Okay, let's take another one because I like things to be even. And the Ace of Cups. That's why I wanted to take another one, because there it is. It's the Ace of Cups. Okay, so for this person, the advice is to let things unfold as they may. Already I feel like this person is aware of that. You know, you wouldn't have the High Priestess come out if you weren't already a little bit aware of that. There are some things happening for this person that are just not explainable by real life standards, and they need to look past, you know, the commonly held expectation of what reality looks like, and dig within the subconscious a little bit more, because obviously this is a profound connection. There is something here that is karmic, there is something here that is deep, and it's going to happen in divine timing. Like these two cards together is like divine timing. Like the wheel will turn when it wants to turn, when it needs to turn, when the universe has planned it to turn. So for now, this person just needs to continue learning their lessons, continue lifting the veil of reality and realising that life is not quite as cut and dry as we all think it is, and that there are a lot more kind of like bigger, higher things going on. And I feel like this person knows that, but they need to perhaps let go a little bit more, just to let it in a little bit more, just trust it a little bit more. Yeah, wow, guys, deep reading. I hope that this resonated with you guys. If it did, leave me a comment. I love to hear what your specific situations are and how they kind of tie in. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next week.